audience. Hey, hey, we are here with one of my favorite people in the world, Deborah Drummond. Most recently, we'll just start with her most recent award because she wins awards constantly. She's been in Success Magazine, I don't know, 47, 48 times. Most recently, Deb has won the coveted award, the Stevie Award. And it is, I'm covered in chills. Her commitment to empowering women globally, it's off the charts. Stand up, speak up, show up. She has summits about it. Incredible books. I'm so honored. I'm in her second book and I'm so thrilled. And we have a lot going on there. It's not just about women, but let's face it, everything she shares is towards people that want women to succeed and to become empowered. Deb, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for hanging out with me. So you will all come to know that me and Carroll have this special kind of hangout. It's pre-show, it's after show. And you know what? Here's the deal. Like attracts like. You know what? You know when you're flocking with your people and you're moving in the same direction. And it's like tag teaming, right? It's kind of like tag teaming, whether someone's a little further ahead or par or what have you. And we're par. We're doing the thing. We think the same thing. And I'm just happy to hang out with you.
Oh my gosh, right back at you. And thank you for that. So, and she's all things media. Let me also share that with you. I mean, this lady has done it all. She's much younger than her resume makes her appear, by the way. Anyway, Deb, we are here. Here we go. We're rounding out the year, moving in to the new year. Let's just face it, you've got all kinds of planners and trackers, the other things that she has created, y'all. It's just fabulous. Please share with the audience, how do you round out the year and begin planning for the next year is one thing, but how do you stick to it when the new year starts? I mean, goodness knows you get things done. How do you stick with it?
All right. There's a couple of things. First of all, I make a list of the things that I want to achieve in the following year, whether you do it by quarter or by year or what have you. I have a very clear vision of where I want to go eventually. It's more than likely not going to happen in the next 12 months, but 24 to 36 for sure, right? Just like when we launched the book that you're a part of, we knew from the beginning it was a 5-year book launch. So our eyes were on the 5 years. And, you know, I talk about reverse engineering and strategic planning, and they're not like, I'm not kidding. Like you take your date, right? You take what you want. Okay. You take what you want. And you reverse it. So if you want something at the end of December 31st, 2025, let's say, I don't know, let's say you want to make $100,000 that year. Just make it easy. It's math, right? Let's say 120. Woo, make it easy for me. So 120 over 12 months, that's easy, right? Then you have to sit down and ask yourself, where are you at now? What's the gap? So if you're at 60, your gap is 60. If you're at 100, you're at 20. If you're at 20,000, your gap is 100. Then sit down and ask yourself, brain dump. I did it on Saturday. Okay, so I'll be completely transparent. You know me, I'll share like it, not like it. That's cool. So brain dump. What are all the ways that I can make up that 10,000, 100,000, 60,000? What are all the ways? Doesn't matter if you want to, you don't want to, you have to. I mean, it's great if you have a business coach that knows you, or you go to hire a business coach. And then at least you have something to work with. You have an agenda. You have possible ways to gap that agenda. And then you got to make some decisions, right? What of those things are you going to do, you want to do? And what does that look like fiscally, right? Now, some people's goal isn't fiscal. Some people it's time. I'm happy. So someone's like, I'm happy. I make 120,000 now, and I want to make 120,000. I don't want to drop, but I want to drop 5 hours a week. So how do I sustain? Okay, same thing. Brain dump. What is it that you're doing that's working that you can turn up the volume? 5%, 10%. And can you? Because some people will say, oh my gosh, I'll just get more clients. Can you? Do you have the bandwidth? Do you have the family lifestyle? Do you have the ability? Is that going to burn you out? So first of all, what is it? And then can you do it? So it really gets into the details. And Carol, this is the stuff we talk about it. It's not that much fun, but it does get fun. So here's an example. I have something that I'm leaping at financially to do. So I was sitting with my CMO and we're like, okay, we want to bring this in. Way more than we thought. I negotiated well, but it's still way more than we thought. And so I'm like, okay, this is what it's going to cost us this next year. It's a $60,000 piece of information. So on Saturday, when I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, if I had to find 60,000, where would that be? And I start brainstorming and brain dumping and what's this and re-examining what we charge and for certain things and all like try to find it. You may not be able to find it. You might be able to find 3,000. You might be able to find 13. Then you know what your gap is, but it also tells you whether you can do it this year or next year. So you then start to slot things in its proper location, because what happens is, so when I work with clients, they have a goal. And as we start to achieve that goal, they're like, this is my goal. And I'm like, okay, more than likely, you're not going to hit it till the third quarter. Okay, but we are evaluating. We do a mini evaluation at the end of each week, and we do an evaluation at the end of each month. Okay, so as we do that, there's no more surprises. You're not going to get to 6 months of your year that you wanted to be able to reduce your time of working and go, oh my gosh, I'm actually working more. There's going to be no surprises. You're like, okay, so something in the formula is not working, or the economy's changed, or this has changed. Like sometimes, as much as things are in our control, they're only in our control if we know what we need to control. And so if you're in the hope and prayer program, chances are you're going to get close to the end of the year, probably October, and you're going to go, oh, damn, this is going to be tough, right? Or I need a business coach now or something. So look, there's, no mistakes in life, and there's no surprises, and there's none of those things. You can only bank the best that you can with the information that you have. Sometimes it will show you that you have a hole in a learning skill. You'll be like, wow, that sounded really good. Carol and Deb just rattled that off, and that sounds really good, but I have no idea what reverse engineering is. Like, I really don't get it. So then you need to call someone that knows what reverse engineering and ask that definition. How do you apply that to business? How do you apply that to, your kid's soccer schedule? Like, what does that look like, right? And so, to answer you honestly, I do the same thing. I brain dumped. I took a look at things. I had a meeting with my CMO. I said, okay, this is where the gap is. And what are we going to infrastructure? So do we bring it in 2025, or do we bring it in 2026? Or do we hope to bring it in 2025 and do our best, but maybe it's a 2026? No one's crying. No one's upset. No one's disappointed. So I think, without sounding that I'm trying to make it sound like an accounting formula, if you start to apply formula to what it is that you want, then you're going to be able to evaluate, and you can change your mind. You can change it. So you do something at the end of the month and you're like, you know what? You know why that's not working? Because I don't want to do it. And you're like, glory, hallelujah, toss it or hire it. Do you need to do it? Is it part of your business? Or did your girlfriend tell you that she's kicking it on TikTok and you thought you should kick it on TikTok too, but you don't sell TikTok. You hate TikTok. You don't want to go on TikTok. So I'm like, so do we find you someone to bring in to do it? Because that's okay. Or do you drop it? And if you drop it, where do we make it up?
Yeah. And this starts with Deb. I love it so much because I think it's so, first of all, your very first statement was that where you're going. It might not be a 12-month thing. It may be 24 or 36, but you have a clear vision of what you're working towards.
And can I add to that, and why? So look, we just had a nice family conversation before this, right? And I remember when I made a decision to take on one extra thing that I couldn't. I mean, honestly, it was funny. They were like, oh my gosh, I was going to ask you to join that company back in my direct sales days, but I would never have asked you because you didn't look like you had time to, and I didn't. But my why, the reason why I did it was because I wanted to afford a place for my son to go to school that I thought was just a better choice for him. And so I put my back against the wall and stretched myself for a certain time frame because I had a big why. So I know where I'm going and what I'm doing, but you always have to remember why. I mean, look at, sometimes you're tired, you're an entrepreneur, you're in the mirror, you're getting ready and you're like, oh my God, why am I doing this? You have to be able to answer that question. Like you may not be able to answer it in that moment. You're like, I don't know, is this what I was meant for? You know what I mean? Right? You might have to give your head a shake, but you know why. Like if you're really standing in front of that mirror, or you're desperately going through YouTube and like trying to find like the source of why you're doing what you're doing, and is this your passion or dharma, then don't brain dump on your next business project. Brain dump on, is this your why? Does this satisfy this? Will this get you to where you want to go? And so I think why is the goal, right? Like, why do we want to do a 5-year book tour? People like, well, you're out of your mind. Why are you doing a 5-year book tour? Because we want to spread empowerment and we decided to go global and blah, blah, blah. I can answer that question, right? So if I'm tired when I travel or whatever, back in my head, I know why, and it's actual fuel. Your why should fuel you. I mean, fuel you.
Well, I'll tell you what, you just answered the question. That's how you continue the process, is because of your why.
Mhm.
That's why you stay with, that's why you persevere. That is it's the, the magic to success is the why.
And I want to say you're exactly right. And sometimes people think if you have a why and it has to be big. It doesn't have to be big. Like your reason for your season might be honestly to go do some extra work because your family hasn't been on a vacation. Like there's like your why doesn't have to be grandiose. I wanted to send my kid to a specific school. I thought it was better for his health and wellness to go to a specific school, and that fueled me. Now, some people that wouldn't fuel them. You know
Right,
what fuel them is having a private jet, or someone else might be having a farm,
right.
right? Or eating organic because they can't afford organic. Like it doesn't have to be grandiose. It just has to run through your veins.
Run through your veins. And yes, it needs to keep the dream and the work alive.
Mhm.
I mean, it has to. You're such a great example of that. And I want everybody, goodness knows you'll get invited, but Deb has this amazing group. I'm so happy to be a part of it, the 262 group. And we'll talk more about that. How do you feel about when someone sits down and, let's just say, again, accountability is not
And
sexy, but it's important.
that-
And this has been somebody, they're just kind of, life is in charge of them and they're just getting through. How do they, I mean, clearly, if you're here, you want to learn, you want to grow, you're ready to have the not sexy conversations about accountability. And
yeah.
don't you feel like whether we dive in and figure out our purpose and figure out our mission or not, you're choosing your hard?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I always say, yeah. People, I always say, I always say, pick your heart, right? It's like, it, pick your heart.
Yeah, I mean, not doing anything is hard. Not doing anything means complain and look, nobody's coming to save us.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
Let,
we hear
yeah,
that.
let this be the time. Dive in there. What have you all always wanted to do? Listen to what she's saying. What would you do? Even if it took, doesn't have to take a year. It's 5 years down the road. Figure that out first. Brain dump. How could it work? Uh, you know, I, you know, Deb, your mission to empower women. I love the name. Stand up, speak up, show up. Has that been something that you've seen people that have never attempted to do anything new and to jump out there and get on stage? How do you get them going? How do you get them to do it?
Yeah, I get them to do it. Well, I mean, they have to have a bit of a desire. And I'm going to say to you, I've built 7 companies, right? We
Yes.
talked a little bit about my history in business. It's been a little while. When I was in my 20s, and I was working with a coach, and she said, you need to have a mission statement for your business. And so I would say to people, I don't know how you feel about your business, but I feel my business is a kind of a creative outlet for part of who I am. And so who was I and what did I want my business to do? So my first mandate, and it was on the back of my catalogs of my, home party company, was to help men and women stand up, speak up, and show up in their business and personal lives. And so for me, it was always about encouraging people to say yes, encouraging people to step out of their comfort zone. And then I had and I do a lot of training, as you know, in the direct sales industry. And because most of the people that come into direct sales are new entrepreneurs, they're inspired about the possibility. It's one of the most hopeful sectors. Entrepreneurship is a hopeful sector, right? But most people don't come in with all the skills. And so I tell them that the most money you'll make is from being uncomfortable. Because if you came in with all the skills to hit your highest dreams, you probably would be there already. And so, myself included, it's the stretch to significance. It's the stretch. And in the stretch comes a whole lot of cash. I mean, I'm just going to tell you. So when you start to say yes, there's a great Scottish proverb that I share with people. And it's a long proverb and I won't go into it, but it says, when you say yes, and only when you say yes, not like, I might say yes, give me a week to think about it, I'll meet you in 2 weeks, all that sabotage dance, that's a sabotage dance. So when you say yes, all unforeseen things come to play. The book
Mhm.
falls off the shelf. You remember someone's name. You ever walk down the street or you're grocery shopping and you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't thought of that person forever. And then you contact them. Those are unforeseen things that come into play based on the decisions that you're making. And so if the decisions that you're making are pushing you, so truth be told, the name of the summit is Stand Up, Speak Up, and Show Up, Yes, You. And I added yes, you, because there's a lot of women that I know that are like, not at the end of their career, they're like, let the next generation. I go, get your butt on that stage. I said, yes, you. And then you've got women that are sitting across from me and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm ready yet. I don't know. I might not be. I don't know what to say. I'm like, you're not sitting across from the screen from me if you're not meant to be here. So where do
Right.
you want to start? Do you want to start speaking for 3 minutes? Cool. Do you want to go into the book? Oh, I don't know. I'm like, let's talk about I don't know. I mean, a lot of times the conversation is about the I don't know. It's not really the conversation about, you're going to be here and go to the Emmys with us and blah, blah, blah. Sometimes that scares people. I'm like, what's the I don't know about? Well, I don't know if I can do. Well, either did we. Like,
Right.
you know what? Either did we. And I get asked to step up and you get asked to step up and we all get asked to step up and we all have the right to say yes or say no. But you can't be getting asked to step up and asked to step in and asked to go to the next level and complain about where you are. Those two things aren't allowed. You do one or the other. There's times where I have said, someone's like, well, if you don't, and I'm like, I am choosing to not go there. I know what I'm choosing. Like I'm going to be uncomfortable for a couple more months. I get it. I see that that's a place that I need to go, and work with me while I get there. I just need to go a little bit at a time because, I'm doing, my days are 18 hours or something like that or whatever. I'm like, I know I need to get there. Kind of like what I just talked to you about. Here's this offer. I'm working it out. I can't sign the contract tomorrow because we haven't finished out the formula, but I will I'm willing to work along what that looks like. And I think that's the thing. You don't get to stay uncomfortable. You don't get to complain, but you get to calculate. So stay where you are if you want, but calculate with somebody your way out and take your steps as small or big. I tend to be a big of a leaper. Like if I see something and I need to go for it, I say yes and figure out anyways. For the most part, it's worked in my favor because until you say yes, all unforeseen things don't come into play. I know it because I lived it, because I've tested it. Because I've had a visa bill show up at my door at a time in my business where we wrote checks and put it in the mail. And my daughter's father is like, what are you doing? We don't have that money. And I said, we will by the time Visa cashes it. And I walked myself to the mailbox and put it in, and he lost his freaking mind.
Oh my goodness.
And the card didn't bounce and the money was there and it was fine. I pushed that. I tested that. And for the most part, here we are sitting here having a nice little chat.
Which,
So,
but this is huge. It really is huge. And what audience, I have wonderful audience, and the thing about it is, oh my God, the complaining does nothing. And what she is saying here, we do not get to complain and not be taking steps to change things, because we can do this.
yeah.
You can do this. And I also love, she said, get out of your comfort zone. And if that feels weird, I was so funny. I was speaking to a coach the other day, and he said, sometimes I have heard that people are like, grow what feels safe. Same thing as saying, get out of your comfort zone. We have to grow. I love this. And but I'm back to, what's the vision? It's okay if it's way past the next year. Reverse engineer, call, let's talk about what that means, and get your why lined up.
Sometimes it's a gut feeling. Like I talked about it. Oh my gosh, I had to write I wrote in a book. And so it's called It All Started with a Muffin. And the first business I ever did was, okay, I'm sitting in this massage class. I was supposed to be in university taking a degree in women's studies and religious studies and, saving the world. But I had wanted a surprise, and I had a wanted surprise, and I was pregnant with my daughter. And the world made me find a pink flyer, and it was a massage course. And I'm sitting there in the second day of my massage class. And all of a sudden, now I'm super excited. I'm like, wow, this is like amazing. I grabbed a piece of paper and a pen. And my first business plan was, if I do 5 clients a week and I charge this much, this is how much money I'll make at the end of the month. That was my first business plan. And I got tingles, and I'm like, I'm going for it. And then I did the business cards. And then I was like, 36 weeks pregnant. But sometimes it's a gut feeling. And you go with the gut feeling, and you don't have to have it figured out, but and everything is figure outable. But sometimes the why is just a gut feeling. Like sometimes that's all you need to run on until you start to figure out what it can do, how you can do it, and then where it fits and how it fits and why your body's tingling and why all of those things. Right. But you're right. It's the stretch of significance. It's the faith. It's all the things. And I always say to people, you can complain. Like to my clients, they get to complain to me about how uncomfortable they are, about how I'm pushing them. But they don't get to complain to me about how uncomfortable they are if they don't do what we said we were going to do.
Right.
You can complain. You can say to me, you're pushing me. And I'm like, bring it on. Tell me what that feels like. Is that okay? They can do that. They can complain about the stretch. They just can't complain about staying still.
Just so incredible. And as always, I wish we had so much more time. Y'all, this is the first of many conversations. You'll have all the links. But a quick note, if you are driving and listening, go to debdrummond.com. So much good info there. You can't believe it. Thank you, my dear and wise friend.
Well, thank you for coming on. And I want to give a shout out, and I'm sure for all the men and women that are listening to you today, people tend to do things that are, like you said, we talked about accountability, reverse engineering. These things aren't necessarily on the top 3 list. It's branding, business cards, all the fun stuff, right? What am I going to wear to the show? No. And people don't spend the time and energy to go underneath, because it's this stuff that helps people stay successful. It doesn't mean that people can choose to be successful or not but it's the skills. And me and you have both seen people kind of not be where they want to be. And it's not because they're not hungry. It's not because they don't have a desire. It's not because they don't have a strong why. It's because they did a business that inspired them, and they don't necessarily come with all the buckets. They don't
Yes.
have those skills. So these are the fact that you're giving people an opportunity to learn about something that actually is one of the most number one sabotages, then that's really important, because it's this stuff that moves the needle.
Yeah, and like you know, you and I've talked about this a lot, and I know it's one of the pieces of advice you share to to many. It might not be what you're doing, it might be how you're doing it.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm covered in chills yet again. It's just so important. The foundation, you know,
Hmm.
the foundation, and then one step at a time. Build
Absolutely.
on each step. So thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
Thank
you,
you. Thank
Donna,
you. Thank you. Thank you.
and we'll talk again soon, and I can't wait.